Hey gang, welcome back. This is Dr. Bosky, and today we had a question from Eden in the community, Eden Cruz, and he was asking us, how could he conditionally reward a player an extra life if they die? And his context was in his tutorial level, it is possible to die, and he didn't want people to just die and then basically lose the tutorial, right? So what we did is we put together a little script, and I'll just show you what it is first. We've got a big bad enemy that's shooting bullets at Dr. Bosky on the left. Dr. Bosky dies. That soul key is 1 up in the bottom right corner, which you can't see, is oh God. Well, anyways, what you can't see is in the bottom right corner, there's a life meter. Let me see, I can turn myself off. I don't know why it's so important. There we go. And so now Dr. Bosky is basically in purgatory, where he just respawns, gets murdered, gets a one up, and then rinse and repeat that for eternity. Okay, so there were a couple design constraints that I thought about, and so the way I put this together is with those constraints in mind. So one of them is when we start the level, I didn't want the player to automatically get a 1 up. Okay, so now how did we do this? And then well, let me back up. So not to get a 1 up when you start the level, and then to only get a 1 up after your first death. That's what we solved for. Okay, so here it starts with a trigger, and the trigger is player goes into the zone. And again, this zone should be the size of your entire level, and it should always be at the beginning of the level. And then from here, we got a little debug statement on player enters initial trigger. And then what we do is we wake up a bool enemy at this point. So, and this bool enemy is now awake. And then we have a connected trigger that is also then when the connected entity state is all dead, which is the bool enemy, then we're going to activate this trigger. By the way, this trigger stays activated. So then this trigger is now awake and activated, and it's set to switch mode, so it can happen multiple times. And this is also player goes into the zone, same exact size, the size of the level. And then something happens here, which is because we're in switch mode, every time Dr. Bosky dies, he leaves the trigger zone. And then when he re-enters, it re-triggers the trigger condition, which then is connected to an item spawner. And the item spawner is also set to switch mode. Number is 1 in this case, and the item type is soul key. And by the way, the soul key, this is just our 1 up, and the soul key here is set to 1 up. And then animation wise, we set ours to 3 seconds, but the radius for attraction of players set to 0, so they don't have to go and get it. And then we had force of 30. If you want to show and educate what these items are in your game, you can do that. You could also set the force to 999, set it to like an empty graphic if you really wanted to, and then set your time before attraction to 0. It's going to take still a little bit of travel time to get across the level, but it should do what you need it to do. So, and if we take a look at all of this, you can see it here in debug mode. And the wool enemy is killed, and that then when you respawn for the first time, you get the 1 up, and then rinse and wash. Okay, so that's pretty much it, Eden. I hope this helps you out. This kind of solves your case for how to continue giving players basically conditional infinite lives for the tutorial mode. This works whether or not you get killed by enemies, whether you get killed by background objects in collision. And yeah, I mean, you have a couple criteria that you can do, but that should help you out. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.